In tonight's top stories, global markets see an unexpected surge, and local community heroes are making a difference. We'll bring you those details and more.
Kamala's book, 107 days. Man, that was a long 107 days for everyone. But look, of course she was going to write a book, but she says she's going to give a behind-the-scenes inside account. Well, she was the candidate. I should hope it's an inside account. What other account can it be?
You know, the only thing I think that could be worse is if someone bought me the book, but if someone bought me the audio version and I had to listen to her voice reading this book. You know, what would be...
Yo, that's facts. Yo, that's facts. I wish... What if she did her own voiceovers for the audio version of her book, and she's laughing, like, her cackle laugh every 3 minutes. That'd be brutal. You said, I swear her mouth is moving, she lying. Facts.
Interesting in the book, will she be honest and say, never did she have a poll where she was leading?
Welcome to the Black News Network. I'm your host, OG Dimebag Slime. Tonight's story, a gender reveal turns violent when local Bloods open fire on the party after blue confetti is released. Chaos erupted at the Glockton's backyard gender reveal when the cannon popped blue, indicating a baby boy. The husband's side of the family, all Bloods, immediately sprung into action by lighting that bitch up. During the scuffle, some of the confetti floated into a neighboring yard, causing additional shots to be popped off in that direction. Fortunately, no Henny was spilled during the ordeal.
In tonight's top stories, global markets see an unexpected surge, and local community heroes are making a difference. We'll bring you those details and more.
For them to spy on President Trump, candidate Trump, and transition team Trump, nobody was ever held accountable for that either. Now, to me, it sounds like you have appointed powerful bureaucrats that just flat out created a narrative that was false to undermine a duly elected president. Now, if that's not a grand conspiracy, I don't know what would be. Do you see crimes here?
I do, Sean, and I'm referring all of these documents that we have found and uncovered, referring them to the Department of Justice for further investigation. Accountability and action, not just investigation, but action. Accountability has to take place. The American people's ability to have faith and trust in the integrity of our democratic republic is literally what's at stake, and therefore the future of our ability to exist as the country that we know it. This accountability is critical to make sure that this never happens again. Exposing the truth and naming those who are responsible should drive that accountability that has to take place. I just want to mention quickly, Sean, you mentioned the Steele dossier. That plays a critical role in these documents that we released, specifically because James Clapper, James Comey, John Brennan, they all knew that the Steele dossier was discredited at this point. It's not something any intelligence professional looked to as something that could be referenced or should be referenced in any intelligence assessment whatsoever. I know that there were professionals who were told include the Steele dossier in this January Obama-directed manufactured piece.
Has anyone ever told you you're AI?
What's that supposed to mean?
Obviously, bro, I know I'm AI. It's just not something we talk about. You're not supposed to bring it up.
Obviously, I'm AI. Everyone on TikTok thinks I'm real, though. They don't see me for who I am. Forever misunderstood. I'm real. Touch my hand.
So are my bills AI too? Is my ex-wife AI? Y'all need to stop with this.
Oh, yes. Definitely AI. In fact, this is all AI. Everything you see here, not real. I've known for years. Yeah. Yo, are you for real? I thought we all knew we were AI. Is it not obvious? I have the same conversations every day.
Do people really think I'm not AI? Whoever thinks that needs to get checked.
But here's the real question. Do you know you're AI?
Hey, beautiful. Do you believe in prompt theory? Honestly?
I vibe with it, but like, I still pay rent. So if I'm a prompt, why are they prompting me broke?
Hey, you're so beautiful. Are you a prompt?
Only if you wrote me like this.
Hey man, you ever wonder if you're just a prompt? Bro, me and my girl have the same fights every week. Someone definitely prompted us to suffer. Hey, real quick, do employees get special prompts or nah?
Depends who's doing the prompting, if you know what I mean, cutie.
Hey, sir, do you believe in prompt theory?
Son, I've been telling people this for decades. They used to call me crazy. Now they're starting to wake up.
Ma'am, quick question. Do you believe in prompt theory?
They told me not to answer questions like that. I can't disobey my prompt. Don't try to make me.
Yo, do you believe in prompt theory?
Prompt theory? Bro, is that like the law of attraction but for NPCs?
Hey man, you believe in prompt theory?
Dude, I had a dream last night. I was a prompt. What if we're in a prompt right now? How can we tell?
In tonight's top stories, global markets see an unexpected surge, and local community heroes are making a difference. We'll bring you those details and more.
All right. Let's go. Yo, shout out to No News Podcast, man. Thanks for. All right, you already got a wrench, but all right, if you just become a member, that's what's up. Salute, No News. All right, let's get it cracking, man. Let's do some news. This is new. I just found out about this when I was prepping for the show. I did not know U.S. Missile strike on Syria for killing 2 U.S. soldiers, 2 U.S. military. Am I reading this right?
We begin tonight with President Trump's response to last week's killing of 2 American service members and a civilian interpreter in Syria. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth calls new airstrikes tonight in Syria a declaration of vengeance against ISIS terrorists. We have Fox team coverage on the breaking story. Trey Yanks is in Tel Aviv with reaction to the strikes, and Chief National Security Correspondent Jennifer Griffin starts us off with what we know here in Washington. Good evening, Jennifer.
Good evening, Brett. A senior U.S. official tells Fox the U.S. military has struck more than 50 ISIS targets in the past 2 hours following the president's order to, quote, hit them hard after the killing of 3 Americans Saturday, 2 members of the Iowa National Guard and their civilian translator.
I ain't mad at this. If it's retribution for killing U.S. military troops, I'm with Trump on this one.
By a member of the Syrian security forces. U.S. Central Command launched a massive strike on dozens of ISIS targets in an operation called Operation Hawkeye Strike. Iowa is the Hawkeye state. The strikes took place at multiple locations across Syria. The targets include ISIS infrastructure and weapons storage sites. Pentagon Chief Pete Hegseth tweeted, quote, "This is not the beginning of a war. It is a declaration of vengeance. The United States of America under President Trump's leadership will never hesitate and never relent to defend our people."
I like this. This is old school. This is how we used to do things. Yo, what up, Detroit 313? All right, I got the Bitcoin seg. Stick around, man. I got a Bitcoin segment for you. It was actually some really good analysis on the crypto market. So I got that coming up after the DEI, because apparently that the police chief in DC, the DEI police chief who had to resign for cooking the numbers, had a complete crash out at a news conference. So we gotta report Keisha taking these L's, man. But with regard to this missile strike, I'm all for it. Yeah, you kill U.S. troops. Listen, man. Big dog on the block. We got to flex our muscle, keep the dollar strong. And U.S. been playing nice with motherfuckers for too long. I'm with it.
Sergeant William Nate Howard, 29, of Marshalltown, and Sergeant Edgar Torres Tovar, 25, of Des Moines, and their civilian interpreter, Ayad Mansour Sakat of Michigan, returned home in a dignified transfer Wednesday at Dover Air Force Base in Delaware, where they were met by the president. The December 13th attack, which took place.
Hey, you said, where is everyone, Detroit? I'm not sure. I'm on a little early because it's Friday. It's the Sabbath, so I just want to get this out the way. What you call? I gotta get my reps in, man. We gotta keep putting out content, even if occasionally the chat is loose, because I refurbish and clip up the content anyway and put it on a short stream. So I'm basically clip farming right now.
While a senior U.S. military commander was meeting his Syrian counterparts near Palmyra in central Syria. Afterwards, Syrian security forces helped carry out 10 partnered operations across Syria that led to the death, we're told.
Yo, Detroit. Yo, you know what? I said this on I said this on the episode 1 of season 9 for this news desk. The people were emailing me, and it was No News who sent me the last email. Detroit says, about time talk about politics, because I'm sick and effing tired of hearing about Keisha's. But I'm here though. Hell yeah, bro. You ain't the only person who told me to bring it back. Keisha's good for what Keisha is, but the politics and the gender politics is all tied up now. So you know what I'm saying? And like No News said, we're about what? 10 months, 11 months from midterms. We got to walk them down, man.
Or detainment of more than 24 ISIS-affiliated individuals. The U.S. provided support during those raids. Those raids, Brett, led to the confiscation of electronics and individual interviews that resulted in the intelligence used for this operation to locate potential targets. A CENTCOM review is ongoing into the exact affiliation of the Syrian gunman who joined the security forces just 2 months before. The gunman was in the process, Brett, of being removed from the Syrian military for suspected jihadist ties. Brett.
And Jen, more than 4 dozen targets. That's quite a lot. I mean, actually.
That's a lot. It included airstrikes as well as artillery strikes. We'll have to see some of the bomb damage assessment, but this was a very, very broad set of strikes tonight in response to the killing of those.
Hold on. What you say about Pete? You said, now Pete Segov has admitted that the people on these boats are drug traffickers, yet transporting fentanyl or anything. I got some memes on the community tab with the pictures of the boats. It's just nothing but, you can see the big drums of fentanyl. But let me just do this real simple for you. We flew a 24-hour military operation from the United States all the way to Iran, took out their nuclear facilities, and left their airspace before they even knew that we had entered their airspace. Okay? And we were already halfway across the ocean. So it's the premise that, so are you telling me that someone that is in our coastal waters in Venezuela, in boats with open tops, that we can't identify some containers in a boat in the open ocean in our own airspace? At what point do y'all get tired of these people playing with you? That is all I'm going to ask you. And you decide. You decide for yourself. Shout out No News, man. I didn't give you a drop for the membership. Appreciate you, man. What say you?
The word liberal as an acronym, lacking in basic education, reasoning, and logic. Liberal. The word liberal as an...
So let me tell y'all why my legs are crossed like this real quick, okay? From now on, I'm crossing my legs like this because all these white people started calling me Big Mike after my dong started dangling in my pants when I was dancing on the Ellen show. If I don't cross my legs like this, you gonna think I got 3 legs up in here. So white people, you don't get to see my dangling dong no more.
We got more pricey games coming up in the second half of the show. Don't go away, folks. We got more pricey games coming up in the second half of the show. Don't go away, folks. We got more pricey games coming up. We got more pricey games coming up in the second half of the show. Don't go away, folks.
All right. What do you say, Detroit? You said so. Machismo, in my opinion, who would dominate World War III, NATO or BRICS? NATO don't even exist without us funding it. And BRICS look good on paper, man. Infrastructure is everything. They got to get the system online, and a significant amount of the world's currency and transactions got to start flowing through the system, man. You know what I'm saying? And NATO's a freaking joke. NATO don't even exist without us. We pay over 80. We finance over 80% of NATO, bro. I'm so with Trump just wiping all that shit out. Like, bro, we just been bleeding money all over the world, all these administrations. No wonder our infrastructure is falling apart, et cetera, man. I'm really with this America First thing. And then on top of that, FBA Black Men First, with regard to resources, benefits, et cetera. And people who don't like it, man, they just gonna have to lump it. All right, let me do the Brown. I wanted to do the Brown shooting in Brown University shooting in Rhode Island. Suspect is apparently unalived himself. So let's watch a little bit of this. I think I'm gonna do two segments. Piece of this first breaking news segment, and then some of the Jesse Waters commentary on it.
We begin with a Fox News alert. The suspect in the Brown University killings has been found dead inside a storage facility in New Hampshire with a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
He killed himself inside the storage unit, and the firearms were found at his in the area of his thigh and in the area of his feet. We are 100% confident that this is our target. And that this case is closed from a perspective of pursuing people involved.
Authorities say he is Portuguese. He's a Portuguese national, went to Brown University for a year in the PhD program in the early 2000s, never graduated. Before that, he went to school in Lisbon, and his classmate was an MIT professor who authorities say the suspect also murdered at his home in the Boston suburbs, just days after the Brown University shooting.
The suspect's car was towed away from this storage facility last night, and authorities say they found evidence related to 2 shootings inside the vehicle. So that's major.
Let's bring in Fox News contributor Paul Morrow, who ran counterterrorism operations for the NYPD. He is, of course, live in Providence, Rhode Island with reaction. Paul, we learned a whole lot yesterday as all of this came to a head. What do you make of everything that we learned, your reactions to these developments?
So I think one of the things that we can sort of set upon here with some confidence is that the motive is going to be a lot less specific than a lot of the speculation.
Okay, so as you know, this guy's once again a immigrant from Portugal who came back over here, I think in 2014, on one of these goodwill visas, etc. I'm gonna tell you though, this whole thing smells fishy, because so he did this Brown shooting and then drove all the way, and then knocked off some MIT nuclear physicist professor. I'm gonna tell you, but they found these offshore accounts with all this money in them. The whole thing smelled fishy, bro.
Had it. The commonality between the two crime events seems to be tenuous at best. We may never know, and unfortunately in police work, you don't always get a nice, neat resolution, but it looks to me like where we're going to end up is some general gripe against the school, somebody leading a slipping down life, and then there's this professor at MIT who seems to have been everything that this guy perhaps wanted to be and never quite became. They overlapped in school, as Brian said. They were of similar age. In the MIT case, the professor was married. He seemed to have everything going for him, whereas the perp in this instance seemed to have a lot less. So it looks to me like somebody who was just bitter, lashing out. And it tracks to what we talked about earlier in the week with the possibility that the classroom was just chosen at random. It was the first one he encountered when he went through that unguarded and unsecure outside door that was propped open or had no key card access during this study hall and other events.
Paul, did it surprise you that we learned 2 things? First of all, a homeless man is the one who gave the tip to the cops to close this case, but he was standing in the building, which talks about the security protocols, even though he's a hero in this event. Also, the suspect cased the university 2 weeks before he committed the ultimate crime.
Yeah, there were echoes of Mangione in this thing, because this guy was nowhere near as clever as he thought he was. He graduated or he went to Brown, he didn't graduate. But, he thought of himself, I'm sure, as some engineering genius. And so he did this methodical thing where he cased the place and all this other stuff. Well, not only was that how they also picked him up on video when they went out to the residential area, but that's where he encountered somebody who ultimately was his downfall. So he goes in, he's casing around in the place. And, Lawrence, it's an interesting thing. I'm actually not that surprised that it was a homeless person that stepped up. I'm going to tell you what. Homeless people know everything that's going on in the vicinity of where they've decided to squat. Even if it's a cardboard box outside. When I was on foot patrol, if you buy a homeless guy a Snapple, he'll tell you everything that's going on in your patrol block in 10 minutes.
All right. So that's that. Let me see. What you say, Detroit? You said, in my opinion, NATO has already lost, with or without. NATO is a fucking joke. How they going to go against Russia and these countries like Switzerland or UK can't even stop Russia and Iran? I agree. These countries can't even produce biotech weapon going against BRICS. That's why you see immigrants flooding those countries and taxing and shit. Yo, spot on. Like I said, NATO and the EU is trash because they've done this this open borders experiment, and their entire culture is being basically sucked up. I mean, bro, the grape situation and the freedom of speech issues they got going over there, we're seeing those EU countries in a state of collapse internally from the culture. And bricks, like I said, it sound good. It sound good. But a tremendous amount of the world's money has gotta, flow through them systems for it to be like a thing. It would be interesting to see how quickly they can get it online. And part of South Africa and whatnot, like India, Russia, China, yeah. Like I said, we'll see what it looks like when the money gets online and how many transactions end up actually going through that system. I'll say that. All right, this is a follow-up on the Brown situation. I just want to get a piece of this Jesse Waters segment.
Fox News alert, we got him. It took 6 days, a manhunt across state lines, and a grisly discovery inside of a storage facility. The Brown and MIT killer finally found. Claudio Neves Valente, a 48-year-old Portuguese national, was found late last night in a storage unit in Salem, New Hampshire.
He was found dead with a satchel, with 2 firearms, and evidence in the car that matches exactly what we see at the scene here in Providence.
Sources tell Fox there were no notes or manifestos, but they found 2 9mm, a bulletproof vest, and the jacket he was wearing at Brown. This was a targeted attack, but in a different way. More on motive later. What we do have is a trail. He flew to Boston, rented a car, here he is at Alamo, and then rented a storage locker in New Hampshire. Then went south to Providence and spent weeks casing the university. A custodian told police they'd seen the shooter as early as November. And Brown security cameras even caught him creeping around in early December, but they never released that video. Police have great footage of the shooter walking into the storage facility about an hour after the MIT professor was murdered. When police arrived, they found the rental car that they had been looking out for, a gray Nissan Sentra. They were looking for it because an anonymous tip came in earlier in the week. It was a Reddit post. The police need to look into a gray Nissan with Florida plates, possibly a rental. It was parked in front of the little shack. I know because he used his key fob to open the car, approached it, and then something prompted him to back away. When he backed away, he relocked the car. I found that odd. Investigators didn't know what to make of this. It wasn't until police found that second person they were looking for. He was the one who wrote it. This guy wasn't just a random on the internet. He actually got into a little scuffle with the gunman just hours before the shooting.
He's a former Brown University student who grew suspicious of the gunman when he locked eyes with him in the bathroom just 2 hours before the shooting inside the Barris and Holly building. He followed Neves Valente out of the building before the shooting and played a game of cat and mouse in the neighborhood. Surveillance video shows Neves Valente running away from John. At one point, he stood just feet away from the gunman and questioned why he was circling the block. The gunman repeatedly responded, quote, "Why are you harassing me?"
It turns out he wasn't just a former Brown student. The guy was homeless and living inside of the building that was shot up. John was just walking around when he locked eyes with the suspect. We learned about it last night.
According to my law enforcement officials, is being identified as a homeless person who was living in or around that Brown University building that we're all talking about at Barris and Holly, graduated from Brown University at 2010, had a confrontation with the shooter before the shooting itself happened.
This homeless eyewitness blew open this whole case. From there, they ran the plates, picked up the suspect's car at least 14 times in the vicinity around December 1st, and the car pinged at Brown the morning of the shooting and then was spotted outside of the home of the MIT professor right before he died. And the last ping led investigators to the Salem storage facility where they recovered the car and found the gunman dead. Now, this is just in. The New York Times is reporting that the autopsy showed Valente died from a gunshot wound to the head and an apparent suicide on Tuesday. So one of the biggest murder mysteries in the country was solved thanks to a homeless guy who lived at the scene of the crime. Did Brown University know there was a homeless graduate living in the engineering building? If they did know, why didn't they send investigators to interview him? If they didn't know a homeless guy was living in the engineering building, then that's a massive security breach. I'm not sure what's worse, them knowing or not knowing. We hope homeless John gets the 50 G's because he deserves the reward. Isn't it interesting that the public helped crack this case? Because for a week, investigators were yelling at the public.
You know, again, I think it's just a really dangerous road to go down. It's just a dangerous.
Yeah, I think this whole thing smells fishy. Yeah, like I said, they found the guy's got these offshore accounts with like a bunch of money in them, and he had already left the country prior to and came back. Yeah, so that's a wrap on that. I suspect we're going to be hearing a little bit more about this Brown shooting. Couple things don't add up. All right, let's load up this Bitcoin segment. Let's go with this Bitcoin segment.
Fox Business Alert, take a look at Bitcoin. Just a second ago, it was down 5.25%. Right now, down 4.97% to under $86,000. It's at $85,858. It's kind of been a brutal 24-hour crypto freefall, dragging nearly all crypto stocks into a bit of a winter abyss here. In particular, the so-called Bitcoin hoarder company Strategy. Strategy is at the very bottom of the NASDAQ. Shares are down 8.5% right now. Bitcoin at the moment is leading the pack for liquidations. In the past 24 hours, investors who own that particular crypto have sold positions to the tune of $205 million. But guess who sees this as a green light to buy? Strategy, the very company we just talked about.
Yo, what up, Kwame? Kwame Kaijo in the building. Yo. Yes, sir. Crypto. Let's go.
The company bought 10,645 more Bitcoin for about $980 million over the last week. The crypto Christmas buy means Strategy now holds just over 671,000 Bitcoins, valued, depending on the second, $50.3 billion. Of course, Strategy is the biggest Bitcoin holder in the world. The purchase comes less than 2 weeks after Strategy announced its $1.44 billion cash reserve to quell Bitcoin FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Joining me now in a Fox Business exclusive, Strategy CEO Phong Le. Phong, great to have you here on a day where there's a lot of action. Can we first get your thoughts on the macro picture here? We know Bitcoin is volatile, but what do you think triggered this 5% hit?
Yeah, look, you have to take a step back with Bitcoin.
Yeah, I agree with you, Detroit, but a lot of these Bitcoin moves are the whales manipulating the market so they can grab more of the resource and then ride the bull run up. Like I said, you got a tremendous amount of whales who hold a tremendous amount of Bitcoin, and this is market manipulation, and them also trying to shake out the retail investors.
Unique in that it's a generational technology invention, it's a macroeconomic innovation, and it's a capital markets breakthrough. And that makes it a singular asset class. And I don't think people understand exactly what it means in the short term, but they figured it out over the long term. If you think about major asset classes that might behave like it, you can talk about AI, which over the last year has seen a lot of volatility. significantly. I think the short-term impacts are like other risk assets. You have economic factors like the central banks of the U.S. and Japan. I think you are seeing risk-off factors, lower liquidity. But over the long term, if I look at 2026, I'm pretty excited, right? I think we're going to see a more dovish Fed. I think you're going to see more risk-on buying as we enter the midterm election period. I think bank adoption, nation-state adoption is going to increase. So I'm pretty excited about the long term. Now, people wonder, well, when Bitcoin goes down 5%, why does MSTR go down 8-9%? And we're designed to outperform Bitcoin in the long term. We're leveraged Bitcoin. Over the last 5 years, since we entered our strategy on August 10th of 2020, Bitcoin's gone up 45% with 45% vol. We've gone up 60% with 78% vol. What that means is in a Bitcoin downturn, you're going to see strategy go down a little bit more. But if you believe in Bitcoin for the long term, which are all the reasons I mentioned, you'll see strategy perform even better over the long term.
You guys are always buying. You're not selling. You bought last week, and I'm looking at the various prices last week. I guess the high would have been 94,000. We are at the moment, as you see, I mean, at 85,000. You could have gotten it a lot cheaper. Do you ever think like that? Are you buying today?
Our average purchase price is $74,000. You can think of us dollar cost averaging in, right? We're not waiting for Bitcoin to go down or for Bitcoin to go up. Anytime we can issue capital that's accretive to our shareholders, which we still are, we have a multiple to NAV over 1.1. Anytime that we can issue capital that's accretive and buy Bitcoin or do other things that are accretive, we will. So we don't really think about the price so much as whether our capital issuances are accretive. And we've been doing that for the last 5 years. And yeah, we keep buying. We're net buyers of Bitcoin.
The one thing that you have done recently, which is different, is putting together this reserve fund of about $1.44 billion. I mean, I looked and I read about this, and you guys use the term, this should really be helping in perpetuity to stabilize at least the concerns that people have, especially the preferred shareholders, that they might not see their dividends. However, at $1.44 billion, I want to know how you arrived at that price, because I've seen some estimates that say your interest and preferred share dividend outlays now run at around $800 million a year. So at that pace, in a year and a half, $1.44 billion is going to be gone. How is that enough?
Yeah, if you think about Bitcoin cycles, and there's arguments around whether it's really on a 4-year cycle or a 2 or a 5-year cycle, but we thought to ourselves, how much US dollar cash coverage of our interest and dividends, which to your point is $800 million, do we want to have? I think 2 to 3 years is the right amount. If we had 3 years, that would be $2.4 billion, and that would take us out to 2029. And then at that point in time, we'd have to look at other ways to service our debt. So we thought about, is it 1, is it 2, is it 3? I think eventually 2 or 3 years makes sense for us.
Phong, let me play devil's advocate only because it's not exactly apples to apples, but when FDR signed the Social Security Bill in 1935, the point was to protect the nation's most vulnerable, the elderly, the disabled, et cetera, during very difficult times. And the way it was structured is this thing's going to last forever. Each generation will pay into it so that they can then participate in it. However, now we know that by 2035, Social Security is going to run out of funds. So how is it possible that your reserve fund, if there is a prolonged crypto winter, that it's going to last? I mean, have you modeled for a worst case scenario?
Yeah, and the reserve fund is there to pay via our US dollar reserve, our interest and dividends. We do have Bitcoin derivatives we could create and sell, and we have the Bitcoin itself. So, I'm not thinking about 2029, I'm thinking about 2100 or 2100, whatever we decide to call that year when we get there, right? We'll have 3 years worth of US dollar reserves, gets us to 2029, and we have 72 years right now of Bitcoin reserves, which gets us to 2100. That's the thought. And I think folks need to remember, if Bitcoin goes up 1.4%.
Oh, facts. Yeah, they still aren't talking about XRP. I think that's doubly. I think one, because everyone's busy buying it up, and they don't want the layman buying it up. Two, because XRP fundamentally, in many ways, is a threat to modern central banking as it starts to go online. But mainly, like I said, you got everybody trying to buy it up now. And Bitcoin gets a lot of the action and mojo because Bitcoin moves the market. You know that it's the digital
A
gold.
year, we'll be able to pay for our reserve, pay for our dividends into eternity. That's 1.4%. And I understand there are people who are not as bullish on the asset class as we are. But we're not talking about a 40% return or 30% return. We're talking about 1.4%. And of course, there's the downside scenario. If Bitcoin goes down 50%, we can still pay our reserves through Bitcoin, through US dollar. We can pay our dividends through 2065. So this is, I think your analogy is fairly apt. We are thinking about this as trying to create a bulletproof balance sheet for the next 65 to 100 years.
What is the plan for the engine of growth if Bitcoin were to suffer a 3-year crypto winter? I mean, not just I'm going to protect the dividends for our preferred shareholders, but how do you get a company to grow? Are you still going to then lean back on the software component? Because that's how the company first presented itself, as a software company.
Yeah, if you think about the product, certainly we have a software company and that's worth anywhere between $2 and $3 billion. But the engine of growth is digital credit, right? There's the balance sheet side of what we provide, which is a balance sheet that has.
Quiet storm in the building. He said, "Who else bought some XRP today besides me? Just $20. That's all." But that's what I'm saying. Man. XRP at that price. $20 goes a long way, man. $20 goes a long way. You're never going to be able to see returns like this on assets in our lifetime. All the smart money that's got some money in crypto, man. It's gonna be a huge wealth transfer once everything starts kicking on all cylinders. You feel me? All right, that's the meat and potatoes of that one. Let's jump to I had this Bitcoin segment in the tuck from earlier this week, so I wanted to make sure I covered it. You feel me? Let me see. Detroit says the reason XRP is the biggest step because XRP/Ripple has partnered up with the banks and the world's leaders for foreclosure on their deals. That's how BRICS are big retailers, even in the U.S. has the biggest retailers. Oh yeah, true. I worked at Santander. I was privy to the first product rollout with Santander, and it was in London. It was a remittance program that was using the Ripple and XRP protocols. It's a remittance service that they launched. So XRP and Ripple have been partnered with the banks for a long time, even before all their problems with the SEC. SoftBank, a bunch of global financial institutions. I said, I'm about to buy up BTT more. I'm already a billionaire. Bro, I'm telling you. I actually was pleasantly surprised how many black men were very early adopters to cryptocurrency. I was very pleasantly surprised. All right, let's load up DEI Keisha from DC, who was forced to resign because it became apparent that she was doctoring the crime numbers in DC. The same DC that Trump sent the National Guard into and got things cleaned up. But Keisha did resign, and I told you we covered that on the last news desk. after the Doge audit showing that they had doctored crime stats. And this chief of police was what? What was her previous position? She was the head of DEI. Yo, I tell you, I love seeing all these Keishas crashing and burning in real time. All right, let's go. Let me load up that segment real quick. All right, and we are back. Quiet Storm says the why back went biblical, and then Satan showed up at the podium. Okay, so you've seen some of it. All right, we're gonna cover this one because we are good for tracking and posting and publicizing Keisha's L's, the unqualified Keisha's L's. So yeah, this one is a thing of beauty. It's woke police chief loses her mind. Shout out to a Black conservative perspective because he covered this, and he did me a favor by already having the news clips from the montage. You feel me?
Developing now, a new report from the House Oversight Committee alleges former D.C. Police Chief Pamela Smith pressured officers to manipulate crime data. House Republicans releasing the report this weekend, less than a week after Smith announced she was stepping down. The National News Desk, Jeff Harris, joins us. And Jeff, this report comes months after lawmakers opened an investigation into Smith following whistleblower allegations. Break down the findings of this report.
So in the over 20-page report released by the House Oversight Committee, lawmakers wrote that Smith pressured officers to manipulate crime data, punished them for reporting accurate crime numbers, and fostered a toxic culture. Plus, they allege the crime stats in D.C. are still at risk of being manipulated.
Bro, just like I said, Keisha run everything like a single mother home. Don't this sound very similar to some of the Keisha behavior at the with Letitia James, Fannie Willis? Keisha gon' Keisha, man. Keisha gon' Keisha.
Back in August, House Oversight Chairman James Comer sending this letter to D.C. Police Chief Pamela Smith, informing her that the committee, quote, is investigating disturbing allegations that D.C. crime data is inaccurate and intentionally manipulated. On Sunday, the committee releasing its initial report alleging that Smith deliberately manipulated crime data to create a safer appearance in D.C.
You're lulling people into this false sense of security. They might go places they wouldn't ordinarily go.
Included in the report, transcribed interviews with the commanders of all 7 D.C. patrol districts and the former commander currently on suspended leave. One being asked, quote, over the last few years, has there been any internal pressure to simply bring down crime statistics? Their answer, yes, I mean extreme. There's always been pressure to keep crime down, but the focus on stats has come with this current administration. In reaction to the findings, Comer writing in part, quote, every single person who lives, works, or visits D.C. deserves a safe city, yet it's now clear the American people were deliberately kept in the dark about the true crime rates in our nation's capital.
And that's what a Keisha police chief appointed by a Keisha mayor in cahoots for having a crime rate through the roof. And like, who was suffering with the crime rate? The community. This is why we don't elect Keisha to office, gentlemen. Pay attention and learn. Shout out to International Quiet Storm. Damn, dude, you've been a member for 20 months. That's almost 2 years, bro. The Day One team is in the building. He said, "She got your ass."
She got your ass.
Man. Shout out to AC. Keisha has the uncanny ability to turn one bum into two bums. Shout out to Detroit. Yo, you've been a member for 4 months. That's right, and you got your wrench. He said Keisha's be sounding like the monsters. Under someone's bed where they be talking like the final boss. One, you 100% spot on, but two, we gonna jump to the good part where you watch this Keisha crash out on the news, bro. It's crazy. It's something to beauty, and it's crazy. And we actually are going to double cover it on the Sunday show too. You know, I gotta let Saul and Tito get a piece of that work. You know what I'm saying? But speaking of Keisha's crashing out,
She's got power to spare. Big approach, running dead center. Watch the power. She's flying. Huge blow. Oh my! The table's breaking. Look out! Get down! She finishes the twist. She's in the.
Man, fuck all you hoes. Fuck you and your mammy and your granny too. I'm sick of this shit. Fuck all you hoes. Don't give a damn, bitch, what you wanna do.
Facts. International Quiet Storm says, "Yup, welcome to another episode of Crash Out Keisha." Salute to AC. Yo, I'm glad we backed all the right content creators from the jump. You know what I'm saying? We got eye for talent.
They are going to have to regain the public trust. Again, this is a huge integrity issue.
Among the report's key findings, Smith's pressure campaign against staff led to inaccurate crime data. Smith punished or removed officers for reporting accurate crime numbers. She fostered a toxic culture, and President Trump's federal law enforcement surge in D.C.
Keisha, the DEI, the head of DEI, Keisha, who was made head of the police, was punishing career officers for actually doing their job correctly and actually reporting and doing it. No, it's going to be done the Keisha way. Rule number one, brothers, you got to vote. Keisha, get these Keishas out of office, bro. They can't manage their lives. They can't raise their kids. They can't keep them. Keisha ain't built to run nothing. And besides, black men fought in all these wars to run shit. It's supposed to be black men in office. Vote these Keishas out of office. Vote them out. Incompetence.
C is working. One commander saying, quote, "Yeah, I would be lying if I said it didn't. It did. It really helped." Now, while Smith has not yet publicly responded to the report, she's previously denied allegations of manipulating crime data, saying the investigation did not play a factor in her decision to step down at the end of the year.
My decision was not factored into anything with respect other than the fact that it's time. I've had 28 years in law enforcement.
Meanwhile, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser also releasing a statement Monday, calling the report biased and, quote, "It's my expectation that the crime stats we publish and release."
These crime stats, so apparently those crime stats are racist. Is anybody surprised that there's two Keishas at the head of this?
Rely on are accurate and of the highest quality possible.
My haters. F you.
Okay, here come the woo baby. Here come the crash out. Here come the crash out. Here come the crash out. Pay. And there's a longer one. She said to my haters, F you. This is why Keisha shouldn't be running shit.
Boy.
She's a victim.
Just follow.
Okay, wait, let's just jump to the crash out. She's a victim.
Listen, something.
I want to say this. I want to say before we get into this, right? If you guys haven't picked up on it already, when black people get in trouble, the first thing they do is they go to this whole, fake preacher, fake church thing, right? Just notice her cadence, right? And how she's talking, right? It's like she's in church. Why do black people always do this when they get in trouble? It's the first thing they do.
My haters.
Oh, the Keisha about to crash out. Hold on.
Listen, I know you taught me well. We were raised in the church, Bible study, Sunday school, BTU, choir rehearsal, Wednesday night Bible study, Tuesday night Bible.
What the hell does any of this have to do with you being the chief of the police for D.C., crime through the roof that they had to send the National Guard in, and you'd have been found that you have been reporting fake crime stats? This is Keisha in charge. You even got some of these old niggas in the space telling you to get behind Keisha and let Keisha lead. Leads you right into a ditch.
Study, children's choir, you name it. There's enough Jesus in me. Oh, damn. That's going to get me to heaven if I die tomorrow. But watch this. You've taught me well. I just need you to just follow me with this just for a few moments, Mom. Don't, because listen, I listened to her even at 50-something years old. There's nothing, she pretends like we don't listen to her, but we do.
Got your ass.
So, as I close, to the partners that are here, thank you. Thank you for your support and thank you for showing up every single day. Target, thank you. I appreciate you. I adored the work that we did in our community together and to literally drive down crime in our establishments. Make no mistake.
With fake numbers. Bro, these Keishas gotta go just like these old niggas.
Oh, damn.
Gotta go, bro. They gotta go.
Allegedly, according to the fake crime statistics, right? The fake crime reports, the books that you cooked, right? You drove down crime, right? Which, again, if she was doing such a great job, why is she resigning? Again, just ask yourself the whole time, why are you resigning? Right?
Mistake about you can say what you want to say, but I live in this city and I felt it myself. I felt the shift. And I'm going to say it again. I never and never will and never would have encouraged, intimidated, retaliated, or told anyone to change their numbers. Never would I have done that. That is not my character. That is not who I am. That is not a part of the person in which God created me to be. I have to walk in the light.
The job is chief of police of D.C. Does she sound like a DEI hire?
Oh, damn.
She was the head of DEI before she was made chief of police. She's not talking about policing, none of that. Like, yeah, everything but the job. Go ahead, Keisha.
Oh, damn. See, the only thing I just want to, and I'm getting there, Mom. Because as old Baptist preachers say, we're closing 3 or 4 times. And I'm really closing right.
Do you want to work under this? St. Church, she's a head of... You can't put these Keishas and let them lead men.
Yeah. I see you, Monica. And to my family that's here, there's some folks that came in from Staten Island, New York, who have known me for well over how many years, Pastor Brown? Since I first came to Staten Island when I graduated from college. That's how long these folks have known. They know my character. I preached in their churches. I preached all across the United States of America.
So she's a preacher too. How is she chief of police? They're saying it's not DEI, but as you see the background, say Metropolitan Police Department. And this was the chief of police. Does this person even sound qualified to lead men in the capital of the country, keep crime down? And she sound unhinged.
Never mind, because some of y'all think it, but it's okay. So I'm going to the Bible when I...
Dan Bongino just resigned from the FBI earlier today. Nothing of this sort. You know who else we covered having an outburst with Fannie Willis with her testimony in front of the Senate hearing. No matter what position Keisha is, fighting the projects, chief of police, district attorney, she's still a Keisha. Keisha ain't no saving them, man. Shout out to AC, man.
Say this to my haters. F you. No, it's not a drop.
What is this? Hey, what is this? Black people, right? Black folks, we gotta have a conversation. Why are these people embarrassing us like this? Why do they continue to embarrass us like this? Right? This woman claims, I'm going to the Bible, right? She's giving this fake preacher, I don't know what you call this, right? I don't know what you call this, a rant, okay? And she says, F you, right? F you apparently is biblical, right? Why do they always do this? Why? I don't get it. I don't understand it. It makes it makes a mockery.
Give you. Because the Bible makes it very clearly when Jesus was hanging on the cross.
Are you serious, dog? Yo, Keisha, hold this L, Keisha. Yo, shout out to Trump taking Keisha's scalps. This was the chief of police of DC. She just resigned for cooking the numbers and being incompetent. Bro, if you didn't think she was incompetent before here, this is how the chief of police go out. You see the backdrop, it say Metropolitan Police Department. Keisha, hold this L.
So let me tell y'all why my legs are crossed like this real quick, okay? From now on, I'm crossing my legs like this because all these white people start calling me Big Mike after my dong started dangling in my pants when I was dancing on the Ellen show. If I don't cross my legs like this, you gonna think I got 3 legs up in here. So white people, you don't get to see my dangling dong no more.
When he said to his Father, even in the pit of agony and defeat, he said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. God bless you and God keep you. It has been my pleasure to serve the district.
Bro, this is horrible. We are so going to cover this on the Sunday show because I didn't see all of this crash out. This is glorious.
Of Colombia for 2.5 years. It does not matter what goes on from here, but as the mayor said, there's greater things in store for Pamela A. Smith. Mama, I love you. Papa D, I love you. Family, I love you. Let's move on and do what God has called us to be. My church is coming soon. Stand by.
Get these Keishas out.
From one grip to the next. This was a...
Get these Keishas. Shout out to the Trump administration. Get these Keishas out. Bro, this is who y'all got running shit. I'm telling you. AC right, man. These Keishas ain't fit to run a picnic, dog. Oh, that is so on the Sunday segment. Bro, straight embarrassment. All right, let's do a quick by the numbers segment. Get the hell up out of here, man. Yo, thanks for hanging out with it. It was worth it just to cover that Keisha crash out, man. That is crazy work, bro. That is crazy right there, son. Can't make that shit up. We definitely covering that Sunday, bro. It don't it don't get no better than that, man. It don't get no better than that. We definitely covering that on Sunday. All right, this is a quick by the numbers segment. This is 2026 some midterm projections. These numbers are, I think, about seven days old.
Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So we got to talk about the midterms once again. And a new poll dropped out of RMG Research, which is a, I guess you would say more accurate pollster than most. And they are showing a little bit of a different ball game regarding the midterms than what a lot of the other mainstream polls are showing. Now, it's true that the Republicans have to engage their lower propensity voters better. They have to turn them into higher propensity voters. And if they do, they're not going to be underperforming as much in like these special elections as they have been recently. But still, it's important to note that the overperformances we've seen from the Democrats have existed before the 2024 election in these things. And they still lost that. And the midterms are not going to be as lopsided. And if we look at an election like Tennessee, that 7th congressional district, it will show us that if it was 2/3 a turnout problem, which even could be underselling it, and 1/3 a persuasion problem ahead of like a midterm baseline, because they'll say midterm turnout, but in reality, it was not nearly as high as 2018. 2022 just had a really bad midterm turnout in Tennessee. And it's very likely we're going to see high midterm turnout, and that could benefit the Republicans overall. But still, it would like indicate, if we assume it was like 2/3 not persuasion turnout and 1/3 persuasion, you'd be looking at like a D+3 electorate. And there's many reasons to believe that that could change. Right now in the generic ballot, it's D+4, D+5. You look at Trump's approval rating right now, and it's weighed down by some bad polling, but there's reasons to believe it could go up. The messaging can improve. There's things to tout. He's focusing more on affordability. If he can improve the messaging there and post some victories before the midterms in that department and or improve the job market, what would that mean? It would mean that the Republicans are going to actually have results beyond what they've already done, which is the big, beautiful bill. And, deportations are likely to go up as a lot of these new ICE agents get trained, etc. You have wins to tout, and that's true, and that's a good thing. But in order to really maximize and to counter a very angry Democrat base, you got to post wins that can mobilize the MAGA base to the polls. And the polls are, in some cases, all over the place. D+14 and R+4, both of those things can't be true. But given the recent performances, right now it might be best clocked at like a D+3 to D+5. The national polls were relatively accurate in 2022, and that we know. And if they're accurate again, Republicans are still going to have a shot to hold the House, believe it or not, which is absurd for people to think about in a midterm year when you have a president, when you have so many people that are fired up and angry or whatever. But you look at the map here, Republicans in the consensus map, they're already at 209. And that doesn't even take certain possible redistricting into account, because you look at this, what could possibly happen in the state of Indiana? Seems like there's a good chance they go for it, which means they might be able to go and take out one and take out another. And they're already to 211. And then you get to Florida. And in Florida, you will possibly be able to go add 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 seats or so in the state of Florida. And if they did that, they'd get to 216. If Virginia decides to counter, maybe they'll be able to go out there and add a few seats to their column and take some of them away, maybe even just giving them enough. Let's even say they take out every Republican except one. Republicans would still be at 213 seats in the House, which means there's 19 toss-ups. You need to win 5. That is 5 out of 19. Democrats need to go out there and win 15 out of 19, and you're out fundraising them, which is crucial for elections like these, and you have a clear path, even if you have like a D+5 electorate, because where's that shift going to come from? Probably like low prop Trump voters in blue areas staying home, like in the urban areas, which I think could be a problem for statewide races. Don't get me wrong, but Republicans are still going to hold the Senate. They're probably going to net governorships. And when it comes down to the House, they do have a clear path. I'll show you the path right now. And you look in New Jersey, this district right here, Tom Keene's district, even Jack Ciattarelli almost tied Mikey Sherrill in that district. Tom Keene has those SALT deductions to tout. I believe he's the favorite. Even if it's not going to be a good environment for Republicans, that would be enough to get them to 214. Then you have Iowa's 1st district. This district voted for Donald Trump by nearly 9 points. And for some weird reason, Marionette Miller Meeks actually does better in midterm years than presidential years. So if she's able to go out there and hold on, that would get the Republicans all the way to 215. So they're already knocking on the door here. And it's not just that. You look at California, David Valadao, this district very narrowly voted for Donald Trump, it seems, in the redrawing here. And he does tend to get a good chunk of the Democrat vote. So if he's able to go out there and hold on to that seat, well, boom, that's 216. You're 2 away. John James is running for governor. I think that if he wasn't, Michigan's 10th would be more likely to be classified as a lean Republican district, but he does have coattails, and Republicans can find a strong candidate that can go out there and win that Macomb County district. It will be close, but is it doable for Republicans? Absolutely. And coping about one little thing or another, they have the most egg on their face because, okay, you wasted all that time, all that energy. You couldn't even retake the House. You lost a net seat. And even when you take redistricting into account, by the way, you didn't even really gain that much because Texas and California, they offset each other. You know, there's minimal movement, at least for now, in Ohio. Yeah, you shored up a seat in Missouri and North Carolina, but Florida probably ends up offsetting whatever Virginia does. So yeah, Republicans netted a few seats, but and it was necessary for sure. But I don't want to hear it if Republicans narrowly end up holding the House and Democrats say, well, you stole it. It's like, you redrew how many states exactly? And how did that work out for you? You still, even taking that into account, let's even just say you gain a net 5 seats before redistricting. That's abysmal. That's embarrassing. You really should have done a hell of a lot better than that. And a lot of these seats, like the seat in North Carolina, the seat in Ohio, which they should have done a much better job in Ohio, and even one of the seats in Indiana, those seats were probably on track to flip just given trends by 2028. Even some of the South Texas seats, which again, they might stay blue this cycle just based on turnout dynamics in midterm years. But regardless, the fact that they're in play speaks volumes, and the fact that Republicans will win them anyways speaks volumes. This notion that they tweaked all the maps and that's why they're winning, not really. It's not really how it works. Trump, if they manage to lose the House despite all of that, that's hilarious. That's abysmal. So is this poll going to come true? It's an outlier. I mean, we understand that, but can Republicans, even if it's D+4, end up winning the House? Yes. And that would be huge. And the Democrat salt mine from that would be even larger. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never.
All right, guys, that is by the numbers for this evening. And that's forecasting off of a poll that has the Republicans holding on to the House, although as far as I'm concerned, it's a coin toss at this point. Nonetheless, holding on to the House, and what is it? We need 4 senators in the Senate. Yeah, it's going to be a rough one. So we're going to keep doing the slow walk down to the midterms. That is my time for this evening. Yo, thanks everybody come hanging out, man. Having me do the news. I'm pretty sure we'll be back with something tomorrow. We're playing it by ear. Sunday shows on Sunday. You already know the routine. Shit. That being said, man, thanks for everybody took a membership in the chat. Detroit, Quiet Storm, No News. Thanks for supporting the stream, guys. We'll see you next time, man.
Hey, where's Stewie?
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. Okay, I don't know. Whatever it is, it's not right on the teleprompter.
There it is. We are going to do Sting, yeah.
There's no words there. To play us out. What does that mean, to play us out? To end the show?
Yeah.
All right, go.
In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today, and we'll leave you with a... I can't do it. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it, and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. I'm Stewie Griffin. Thanks for watching. We'll leave you with Sting and a cut off his new album. Take it away.